Hey, you're at Steve Morris Engines. I'm Steve. This is obviously one of my SMX engines. This is for a buddy of ours, good customer and friend, Mike Bradley. And what I'm looking at here and what we're doing is NA. Now, what I want to show you here is, obviously this happens to be a reverse belt drive kit that we do for the SMX. And no blower. I'm going to do a bunch of testing, naturally aspirated on pump gas, 93 octane, because all of these, my street motors, are low compression, and this in particular motor is set up to be supercharged, you know, with a Pro Charger or Vortec, whatever well, this one's going to have a Pro Charger. But what I wanted to show you too is, so this is running on 93 octane fuel. This is all the water in. I wanted to show you water that goes through the entire engine. So this is all water out. So the upper portion of the cylinder head right here and the upper portion in the block are all separate. Now this is however you're going to tie it together. But the SMX engine has four water inlets, 4 water outlets. How you tee them all together, how you do it, and run it into a 1 water pump, 2 water pumps, 2 radiators, 1 radiator, it doesn't matter to me. But what it is each cylinder head is completely separate. There is no water that goes between cylinder head to cylinder head or cylinder head to block. Each side of the block is separate from the cylinder head and separate from the other side of the block. There is no water that crosses over. There is no water that goes in between the cylinder head and the block. So water in, you can see here, I got it teed so you can see what's going on. This is water into the cylinder head. Cylinder head. See right there? Cylinder head. This is water into the block. Now that crosses over, goes around through the back, comes all the way up through the inside in the lifter valley, and then comes out right here on the head, and right there on the block. So that's the block out, that's the cylinder head out, that's the cylinder head out, that's the block out, cylinder head in, block, that one's hard to see, sorry, block in. Alright, so you see, water in, water out, maximum cooling for a real deal street, the baddest street motor there is, period. Period. Proven on the track, proven anywhere you want to look at it. So what I thought would be very interesting for you guys is to see, you can see this is completely set up. I put this, the supercharger on it. This runs dual fuel system. 3 sets of injectors. 1, 2, 3 per cylinder. Shut off individual cylinders. I'll show you the tune in this because it's kind of interesting. This thing at the horsepower level it makes right now, it only with no boost. This is just NA. I'll show you timing, which reflects how much or how slow the chamber is right now, and then going to show you air-fuel ratio, so the timing, and then interestingly enough, this thing doesn't even flow 10% duty cycle, which is really interesting. But that's because that's how much fuel is available in the engine, because we race this on methanol. So we race it on methanol, drive it anywhere you want for as long as you want on pump gas, because we have enough cooling to do that. In this solid billet, SMX heads, SMX block, my SMX intake manifold, all of this is proprietary right here at Steve Morris Engines. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go out, we will make a pull on this, and this happens to be a 540 cubic inch motor. I do them in 572, 540, 525, spline drive crankshafts, keyway crankshafts, have all that stuff here in stock. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out, we're going to make a pull on this. I'll show you the numbers and show you how much timing this has in it on 93 octane fuel. which is giving you the indication of how slow it is and what the compression ratio is. Now also, this is built to be, you know, the 3,000 plus horsepower motor with a supercharger on it, on methanol. This is not built. So before everybody gets their little panties all bunched up and thinking it doesn't make enough horsepower, or, oh, this other engine is the cat's whatever, meow, whatever you want to say. It's really, really bad. This is not built to be a naturally aspirated motor. I did not build this with a NA camshaft. It has 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. This doesn't have any compression ratio, has a super slow chamber, and is set up for supercharger cam. This is not built to be NA. But for you guys that understand and want to know, this is going to show you how much horsepower it does make NA, or its base horsepower. So you kind of get a grasp on what it can do, because I also show that and have proven that out, what it can do and what it does do. But it gives you some more background on how everything works in these engines. But you see, now keep in mind, this isn't just my water block. This is my water block and my water cylinder heads that have to be used together. That's what makes up an SMX. So anyways, I'm going to go out there. We'll make a pull on this. I'll show you the numbers. I think you're going to find it really interesting. Alright, let's take a look at the number here. It starts getting a little excited up there. Now I'm not trying to tune this for the perfect NA deal, because it's not a perfect NA motor. But you do get the gist of where we're at on stuff here. I think this little run-up number right there, I'm not really quite buying that, just to be honest with you. You know, I'm showing you numbers right as I did it. So, and as you can see through here, because it is this supercharger cam, because it is a, this is just a you know, a 35-ish 100 horsepower motor. If we converted this over to turbo piece, I mean, it's 4,500 plus horsepower. So, but anyways, like I said, it's not oriented towards being NA, but this gives you a really good baseline of where it's at. I mean, it's been leveling off. It's probably, like I said, this last little up there is probably a little overly optimistic. It's probably just getting run up. It's running itself up on the dyno or up on the load cell when I pull back the throttle. If we take a look here, it's been in the 920s right up here, so I'm disregarding that last number. But so 924 horsepower. It's been real consistent at 920s every time I've been running it, with the kind of a semi-crappy tune on it. Not crappy tune, but I mean, it's just a good general safe tune. It is on 93 octane, so I mean, it's still 900 horsepower on a 540 cubic inch. You can see right up there, 940 cubic inch. Sorry, 540 cubic inch. I read 940 there. You know, pump gas motor. I'm pretty happy with that. And then you look at that, all the numbers all correlate over with you know, how much horsepower it is every time we do 1 atmosphere condition above. You know, so if our base horsepower is 900 at 0, or at 198, 96 kPa, what it is at 14.5, what it is at 28, what it is at 36, 60, basically until you start running out of map on compressor wheels. So anyways, I'm super happy with that. Let's take a look here. Report. I just want to look at my fuel pressure and oil pressure real quick. It's got a lot of oil pressure, but that's because in these any of these things I end up running a lot of oil pressure, and you know, the fuel pump just barely doesn't quite keep up. Of course, it starts building a little bit of vacuum up there too. But take a look here. Oops, sorry. There we go. Now we'll go over here. I'll actually show you actual information on the data logger. So, now I've not downloaded the data logger yet, so you gotta bear with me a minute. And let me come right back to you and get all the download, or the data log downloaded, so be right back. Alright, we're back. It's downloading the data log, so basically it's super simple to do it in the Holley systems or Fuel Techs, real easy too. So it's just downloading the data log right here. I'll pop this up and I'll show you some pretty interesting numbers to kind of give you a grasp of what the engine is like in this mode. So let me zoom in here just a little bit. There we go. Let me clean this up, and I'm going to disregard there. But as you can see, just as a interesting side note, let me get rid of a couple things here real quick. Obviously don't make any boost, don't care about that. Down there, don't care. Alright. Now, as you can see, that with those 3 sets of injectors, so that's it, you know, RPM right through here, but this timing number right there, that yellow line, so right up there at that 8,000 RPM. It'll run more RPM, but it runs out. That's really hard to explain, but it runs out of camshaft because it's not the way the camshafts are designed for NA. So it's running out of a little bit of cam there, but you can see that's 40 degrees of timing. So 40 degrees of timing up there at that 8,000. That's actually 86. Is where it ended up going up to. Didn't record up to 86 on the engine dyno. I have to figure out what's going on there. But anyways, 40 degrees of timing all the way up through there. Like I said, right there is 8,600 RPM. Whoops. Get this back over here for you. There you go. And I kind of have a little bit of a weird timing curve that's going through it, but basically it's starting out, you know, down at the very bottom. It's starting out at 31 degrees. So start figuring that out too. You can kind of give that some thought of why that is, or why I got less timing down there in the bottom, more timing as it's RPMing. I talk about that in some of my Steve Tech videos. Air fuel ratio, our target was 13.5 right through there, and just taking a little bit of fuel out. You know, the couple of the O2s are going up and down just a tick, but all things said and done, it's taking a little bit of fuel out here or there, not a big deal. But I figured you'd like to see the what that is actually doing. Oh, and then the duty cycle here, 8% duty cycle. But I have so much injector on it. Is it the most efficient way to do it? Absolutely not. We have too much injector on it for what this particular engine is with no blower on it. But this thing still will drive down the road and start, idle, do everything you'd ever want it to do on pump gas for street driving, just like it should. Ideal? No, I mean, because obviously we got a little too big an injector for that kind of horsepower. But that's all stuff that we can make work together and be the best of both worlds. I mean, that's just what we've been figuring out. So, anyways, I think you guys would be interested in that, and showing you the water, the cooling system, everything that's there involved in the SMX engine, so you got an idea of how things need to be plumbed. How you run those lines, I don't care, but I'm just explaining to you where the water goes in, where the water goes out, that it's separated from section to section, so nothing is shared. If it ever does blow a head gasket, if it ever has any kind of issue there, it's never going to dump any water on the ground. It's never going to have any issues there. So anyways, I'm Steve Morris, Steve Morris Engines. Have a great day.